Earlier we have discussed about the third ventricle. We have seen that the interior of the brain contains a series of cavities. The cerebrum contains a median cavity, the third ventricle, and the two lateral ventricles. So these are the lateral ventricles. Here in this video we will discuss about the lateral ventricles. The lateral ventricles are two cavities, one situated within the telencephalic part of cerebral hemisphere. Each ventricle is C-shaped cavity consisting of four parts. The central part, this is the body, which is located in the parietal lobe, from which three extensions are given of one each in the frontal, occipital and temporal lobe, called the anterior horn, posterior horn and inferior horn. The atrium or trigone, this region is called as the trigone of the lateral ventricle. It is the site of confluence of body, posterior horn and the inferior horn. It is the most dilated part of the lateral ventricle. Here you can see the cavity of lateral ventricle. It is C-shaped. This is the central part, which is the body, anterior horn, posterior horn and this one is the inferior horn. Now first of all we will discuss about the central part. Central part of the lateral ventricle is elongated antero-posteriorly. Anteriorly it becomes continue with the anterior horn at the level of interventricular foramen. Posteriorly the central part reaches the splenium of the corpus callosum. You can see this one is the corpus callosum, this is the genu, this is the body of the corpus callosum and this is the splenium. So central part of the cavity of the lateral ventricle, it extends anteriorly into the anterior horn and the posteriorly splenium of the corpus callosum. The central part is triangular in cross section. You can see two cavities. So this is the central part. It has a roof, floor and a medial wall. The roof and the floor, this one is the roof and this is the floor. Roof and floor meet on the lateral side. Here these two walls are meeting. The roof is formed by the trunk of corpus callosum. This is the corpus callosum. This section is coronal section. So here you can see fibers of the corpus callosum. So the roof is formed by the trunk of corpus callosum and the medial wall formed by the septum pellucidum. This one is the septum pellucidum and by the body of the fornix. So this is the medial wall, this is the roof. It is common to the two lateral ventricles. Medial wall common to lateral ventricles. The floor is formed by the superior surface of the thalamus. The superior surface of thalamus medially and by the caudate nucleus laterally. So thalamus and caudate nucleus contribute in forming the floor. Between these two structures, here in this diagram you can see between in these two structures, so it is the half section. Here you can see only one lateral ventricle. So this is the central part, this is the medial wall, septum pellucidum, this is the corpus callosum forming the roof and this is the floor. So thalamus and caudate nucleus forming the floor, and between these two structures there are the thalamostriate vein and the stria terminalis. There is a space between the fornix and upper surface of thalamus. So this space is the choroid fissure, which is the C-shaped. The inferior part of choroid fissure bounded by the tail of caudate nucleus and by the fimbria. Now you can see this is the anterior horn. Anterior horn of the lateral ventricle lies anterior to the central part. We have discussed already about the central part. So now it is the anterior horn. It lies anterior to the central part. The two being separated by an imaginary vertical line drawn at the level of interventricular foramen. This is the interventricular foramen. You can see an imaginary line drawn from here. It divides the and separates the anterior horn and central part. This horn is triangular in cross section. It has roof. This is the roof. Floor. This one is the floor, and the medial wall. The medial wall is removed, which is formed by the septum pellucidum. It is closed anteriorly by the genu. This is the genu and the rostrum of the corpus callosum. Now you can see in the coronal section, the roof is formed by the most anterior part of the trunk of the corpus callosum. The floor is formed mainly by the head of caudate nucleus. A small part of the floor near the midline formed by the upper part of the rostrum. In this line diagram, you can see this blue area is the cavity of the anterior horn. Here this white area is the cavity of anterior horn. Roof is formed by the corpus callosum, and medially the floor is formed by the rostrum of the corpus callosum. The medial wall, which is the common for both the cavities, is formed by the septum pellucidum. Tila choroidea of the choroid plexus do not extend into the anterior horn. So, point to remember that tila choroidea and the choroid plexus do not extend into the anterior horn. Now the posterior horn, it extends backward into the occipital lobe. It has roof, lateral wall and medial wall. Here in the coronal section you can see it is the roof, this is the lateral wall, and this is the medial wall. The roof and lateral wall, both roof and the lateral wall, are formed by the tapetum. What is tapetum? It is a sheet of fibers from the splenium of corpus callosum. The medial wall shows two elevations. So medial wall showing two elevations. The uppermost of the bulb of posterior horn. This is the bulb of posterior horn, which is produced by the fiber of forceps major as they run backward from the splenium of corpus callosum. The lower elevation is called as the calcar avis. It represents white matter pushed in by the formation of calcarine sulcus. This one is the calcarine sulcus. So, by this sulcus, the white matter pushed inward, which is present in the lower elevation. It is forming the medial wall. Here in this section you can clearly appreciate This is the roof and lateral wall formed by the tapetum, and the medial wall, which is showing two elevations. This is the bulb of posterior horn, and this is the calcar avus, and this one is the calcarine sulcus. Again, this is the coronal section of the one hemisphere. Now the inferior horn of the lateral ventricle begins at the posterior end of the central part. It runs downward and forward into the temporal lobe. Its anterior end reaching close to the uncus. Here in this diagram you can see it reaches up to the uncus. So you can see C-shaped cavity, anterior horn, central part, posterior horn and the inferior horn. In considering the structure to be seen in the wall of the inferior horn, it is useful to note that the anterior horn, central part, inferior horn form one continuous C-shaped cavity. You can see it is forming the C-shaped cavity. So it will be obvious the floor of the central part of the ventricle is continuous with the roof of the inferior horn. Here you can see the roof of the inferior horn. Here the roof of the inferior horn. It is continuous with the floor of the central part. Now in the cross section, the inferior horn is seen to be a narrow cavity. This is the cross section of the inferior horn. You can see it is the narrow cavity. Cavity is bounded above and laterally by the roof. So above and laterally it is bounded by the roof, and below and medially by the floor. So below and medially by the floor. The lateral, because of this orientation, the lateral part of the roof is sometimes it is the lateral wall, and the medial part of floor is the medial wall. So you can say all over it is the lateral wall and all over it is the medial wall. The lateral part of the roof is formed by the fibers of the tapetum. This is the lateral part, it is formed by the tapetum. The medial part of the roof is formed by the tail of caudate nucleus. Here in this diagram you can see this is the roof. Medially and laterally they are forming by the tail of caudate nucleus and the tapetum. The cavity is bounded above by the roof. Again we can see this, the cavity is formed by the roof. So these structures are continued into the roof of the inferior horn. So they are continued in the roof of the inferior horn from the floor of central part. In the previous section we have already discussed that the structures which are forming the floor of central part continues as the structures of the roof of the inferior horn. So anteriorly, here you can see anteriorly these structures, tail of caudate nucleus and stria terminalis, these are and in relation to the amygdaloid complex, which lies in the most anterior part of the roof. Here this one is the body of the caudate nucleus, this is the tail of caudate nucleus. These structure continues to the amygdaloid complex. The floor of the inferior horn is formed mainly by the hippocampus. In this section You can see this is the floor and it is mainly formed by the hippocampus. The fibers of the hippocampus form a thin sheet of white matter, which is the alveus. Here, fibers of the alveus converge medially and form a ridge. These are called as the fimbria. In the lateral part of the floor, here in this diagram, you can see the lateral part of the floor, there is an elevation. This is the collateral eminence. So this eminence is formed by the collateral sulcus. It is formed by the inward bulging of white matter by the collateral sulcus. So here you can see this is the bulging. So this is all about the complete lateral ventricle and its divisions. Communications we have already discussed in the third ventricle, that the lateral ventricle communicate with the third ventricle through the interventricular foramen and interventricular foramen bounded by the column of the fornix.